What's the boogie? What's the boogie, man? It's Tuesday. The day that time forgot. Jamie Turner's here. Katrina Knight is in town. Here we are under the lights at the Palatial Treehouse. This is actually the Palatial Vitamin Audio Studios, located within the treehouse. Is that confusing enough? It's also known as the Word Shed. Actually, the Word Shed portion of it is mostly over in this area. For those of you keeping score at home, we're drawing little maps. I know people who like to draw little maps of things. You know, get a sense of the layout, of the whole dynamic of the whole. Or they just stand and look in the mirror and make funny faces. It's like looking in the mirror and making funny faces, which was one of my childhood hobbies. It's true. Did something just fall down? Oh. Mug! Good. Mugger's in the house. Mugger's in the house. Jeff Steve is in the house. Jeff! Right on time. Look at that. I was the one who was late. I didn't get here till like 2 minutes after tonight. I know I'm slipping. Well, I had some last minute details that I forgot. See, Diane got off work early today, and so we decided to do our little socializing thing, and I was making dinner and doing stuff and cleaning up from that, and, you know, everything kind of got relaxed and kind of Tuesday, you know. But then you're like, wait. Aren't I supposed to be, you know, doing something like, you know. Up from the market, a left and a right turn, the hub of the business wheel, young radio's burn. I was there at the climax, just before it started to die. Rolling the big trucks, watch the citizens point and cry. They're digging up the street where the steel drum band taught me how to love that sound. Don't they know that corner is sacred ground? Wedge-shaped buildings, slices of grandma's pie, Coca-Cola neon, and then backed by a visible sky. All that's changing in the flash of a hard hat grin. They're gonna rip it up and build us some tall gray walls to hold all the people in. They're digging up the street where the shoe shine man taught us all how to look down, while we were checking our shoes and we're walking on sacred ground. Second floor cafe, plate glass balcony, fishbowl business ladies walking away from me. Trenchant blankets, they stagger the same crooked line. Adrenaline surging through me, time after time after time. They're digging up the street where the Mohawks meet, looking like the lost and found, grinding their butts in the gutters of sacred ground. Sacred ground, sacred ground, sacred ground. Swallow another block, Sleepless survivors, they're forced to absorb the shock. Official position, it'll put more time in your day. But they dig up the soul and the spirit, load it up and cart it away, yeah. They're digging up the street where the steel drum band taught me how to love that sound. Don't they know that corner is sacred ground? Don't they know that corner is sacred ground? Sacred ground, sacred ground. Golly. Evening. There you go. Thanks, Mom. Timitra. And any and all of the Manhattan Valley contingent. Oh, yes. Yes, Monica Holverstadt is here. Val Sanford is here. Excellent, excellent news. Chrissy Chesmore is back. Scott Higgins. Scott and Rhonda. Good evening to you guys. Got a nice email from Rhonda Higgins this week. Yeah. You may notice I'm not wearing my security comfort shirt tonight, although this is just another of that series of security comfort shirts that I am wearing. So I like to feel secure. I like to feel secure in my clothing choices. But here's the problem. I've been isolated. I've been holed up here in the treehouse for so long that all my favorite shirts are starting to get pretty ragged. Starting to get a little blown out in the collars, and the elbows are all going and stuff. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Actually, the raggedier it gets, the more folk it is. I've always wanted to be very folk, and I'm not sure that I've attained full folkydom yet. But I plan to continue to endeavor to move in that direction in any way I can, with the able-bodied assistance of the ever-popular and still number one in everybody's minds and hearts, the hand, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, that's right, the hand. She doesn't care how I dress, really. At least that's what she says. I guess we'll probably find out at some point, won't we? The hand. I'm glad she's here. Mug and Mom are in the house. Good to see you guys. Demetra is here. Scott and Rhonda. Bill Woolham, of course. Val Sanford. Cindy Snyder. Howdy. I like Cindy. She checks in on me every week. Make sure I'm still functional, still upright, still, ambulatory, as they say, in the trades. So we got Holly and Kim. We got Jamie Turner. We got Jeff Steve. Yes, indeed. We got Rick Lewis. Yes, Monica Holverstadt. So there is a Manhattan Valley representative. Excellent. More about that later. Who else? Who did I leave out? Linda Brieger. Linda B is in the house. There you go. Kelly Murphy. Katrina Knight. Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of the same old stuff, What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to keep doing the same old stuff is what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. All right, I think this may have been the first song I ever played on a live stream, and because I was pointing out that window right there, which you can't really see until I give you a shot of it there. There's the window that I keep talking about. That's my window on the world. When I'm here in the word shed, that's where I'm looking, right? So a lot of my poetry and stuff is based on stuff that happens right outside that window there. That's right. Including this song. The song is about a tree that used to hang outside that window. down, but its descendants are making their way up. I think by next year at this time, we could have foliage within view of the window. Now you have to kind of look out and look down to see it, but there you go. Aren't you glad I'm giving this arboreal update as well? See, we like to cover a lot of ground here in the treehouse, and since it's called the treehouse, the tree's kind of got to be a part of it. So this is about the tree, and this is about one of my favorite poets, Jim Harrison, which I also introduced to you some months ago, who died a few years back, 2016. And he was great. He told this story about watching a crow funeral out his window. You know, these crows, they were hanging out with this sickly crow, and they kind of followed this crow as it fell from branch to branch and finally went down on the ground. He was surrounded by this big murder of crows on the ground there, kind of holding vigil with this dying crow. I imagine that when Jim Harrison passed, some crows showed up. It's in the song. Maybe I should get to that, huh? It's called Stump Town. The day they took the maple tree, I poured the coffee strong. I sat down at the window near where it had stood so long. The pen was on the paper and the sun was on the ground. It heated up my strings until they had to make a sound. Well, they're singing, bring it back. The green is falling down, and the clearing's getting wider here in Stump Town. The day they took the maple tree, we killed another lake. High up on a mountain near some stuff we had to take. Now the Mississippi's crying and the Colorado too. They're calling out their sorrow, which is all that they can do. Well, they're singing, bring it back. The green is falling down, and the clearing's getting wider here in Stump Town. The day they took the maple tree, the poet passed away. He sat down at the window just like any other day. The pen was on the paper and the crows were on the fence. They gathered in their hundreds for some noisy reverence. Well, they're singing, bring it back. The green is falling down, and the clearing's getting wider here in Stump Town. Does our singing set us free to sell the soul inside the tree, to sell whatever hope we see? Is that what's to be? Is that what's to be? The day they took the maple tree, I dreamed about my kids. They were pulling out my notebook from the place I kept it hid. And there amid the failures and the wrinkled sheets of rain, my pen was on the paper in the shape of this refrain. Did my singing bring it back? The green is falling down, and the clearing's getting wider here in Stump Town. Did my singing bring it back? The green is falling down, and the clearing's getting wider here in Stump Town. Did our singing bring it back? Will our singing bring it back? There you go. Yeah. Stump Town, that's called. That's from the most recent album called Night Sky. Did I see Joyce Hyatt? I did see Joyce Hyatt. Hello, peoples. Wow, cool. And Katrina and Cindy. This is good. I believe we have a quorum, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Yes, we do. Quorum. Before we go any further, I should mention that I am going to take next week off. I think it's, it's good for me once in a while to really So if I take a week off, that means that in 2 weeks I'm going to be like, hey, where's my life? What happened to my life? I need my life back. This has kind of been my lifeline, as you may already know. Plus, 2 weeks from tonight, I will be joined here in the treehouse by Mr. Jim Page, someone that I have admired and emulated and thought highly of since I was a junior in high school. Since like 1975. Yeah. Jim will be here in 2 weeks. We're going to do another double hitter type show. So it'll be probably an extended performance like the one a couple of weeks ago with Kat that I'm still having withdrawal symptoms from, as are probably many of you. I'm not sure. Jim might be in the Bobcat Den. He might be out in his driveway for all I know. Although his driveway needs like an industrial leaf blower to come in there and kind of tidy up the driveway. I don't want to say anything harsh. It's not really about Jim though. It's about the driveway. So I don't think he'll mind. He might. So maybe it won't be Jim in 2 weeks, but the treehouse will be open regardless for whatever eventuality may happen. Right. Goodness gracious. Well, while I'm up here, I mentioned that I got a nice email from Rhonda Higgins this week. And Rhonda, I'm going to play your song here with all my heart and with gladness. But I've got, this is kind of another one of those going to be kind of reminiscent kind of nights. I've got some older poems of mine that I'm going to read tonight. And I want to sing the song for Rhonda, and I want to sing Summer Island tonight because I haven't sung that in a while, and I miss it. I need to, these songs are songs that I need to sing for my own purposes every once in a while. I'm not sure why. I should let you know that I'm also working on some other older tunes. I really had one that I thought I'd been playing it all week long, and I just decided today, you know what? It's not ready. I'm still trying to get my hands to work with each other without having little disagreements. Still is a struggle depending on the song. So I'm still working away at trying to relearn some of the lost songs, some of the songs that fell off the list somewhere along the line, and also a cover tune or two that I used to play and used to love and still love, but just haven't played in a long time. So I'm working on that stuff, just so you're up to date. Heartbreak me back to Summer Island. Map in my mind the Puget Sound. Replay those memories like movies. Restore each frame of dewy ground. Now that my good work's growing weary and my relations growing wings, I will not feel so old and dreary if I can recollect these things. Heartstrings that sing on Summer Island around a fire of salted wood. I hear those melodies receding. I'd run to catch them if I could, before the photos fade completely and all our gardens turn to stones. These friends I'd serenade discreetly to press more love into their bones. Heart warmed me home to Summer Island, where my first flare for words was lit. These crooked lines are just a remnant of how they fed intended it. Now that my good work's growing weary and my relations growing wings, I will not feel so old and dreary if I can recollect these things. Heartbreak me back to Summer Island, map in my mind the Puget Sound, replay those memories like movies, restore each frame of dewy ground. Replay those memories like movies. Do you? Yeah, I grew up on, spent my summers on Fox Island, down there across from Tacoma. You can see it from my mom's deck. That's right. Oh, yeah. You can almost see the concrete dock, but not quite. Yeah. A little bit further around a little bit further. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I hear the dulcet tones, the distant rumblings of and the rattling of paper, which sometimes means that we may be being visited once again by the ever popular and still number one, the Hand. Did I mention how good you smell? The Hand likes to get kind of gussied up on Tuesdays. Not that she doesn't always smell. Not that you don't always smell good, Hand. Roland Burge is in the house? A tip of the hat to Roland Burge. I assume that means that Dorothy's in the house too? I hope so. Good evening. Good evening to the Burges. Finn Livingston is here. Sally Green is here. Joyce Hyatt, we mentioned. My sister Mug says, you may have to schedule an intermission if you get any more mugs. Oh, I think she means these mugs down here. Yeah, I think that's what she meant. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think she was referring to herself. Of course, you never really know. When we were kids on Fox Island, we used to have a radio. It was the radio from Nano and Bapa's kitchen, I think. It was this wooden radio. It was a portable, but it had a wood case to it. You know, it was about like yay. Not that big, but it was a beautiful radio. Beautiful wood grain, dark green. And it had these little black knobs on it, and we took the bottle tops from Mug Root Beer. We glued those to the two dials. So we had Mug Root Beer dials on our beach radio. I just thought that was very cool. And you know, you get KTAC, KJR, KOL, colorful KOL. I'm thinking about radio today. I'll talk more about that in a little while. Or maybe I won't. I may forget. I may forget that I was thinking about radio today. But I don't think I will. I don't think I will. Because you know what? I'm just like that. I'm just like one of those people. Yeah. This is one of the songs I wrote about the time I spent up in the Methow Valley, which was the land of rivers, see. Spent time away from salt water, about 13 years, but I wasn't very far from water, just away from salt water. I lived about a block and a half from the Twisp River. Yeah, they're in Twisp. Put on new strings today. I probably... So I'm going to try the Book of Edsel. But I'm going to start it with a different chord. That one did not sing. I don't think that's really how we want to start out the Book of Edsel. Nope. Well, there you go. That was our false alarm for tonight. The Book of Edsel will return on a different night. We were having some technical difficulties. It's the whole hand-to-hand cooperation thing. I've been averaging one of those a week, haven't I? Well, it doesn't. You know what that means? That means I'm willing to take chances. I'm comfortable enough with you people. We've known each other for, 9 months now, almost? Yeah. You know, those of you that I didn't know before. And I'm comfortable enough with you that I'm willing to take some risks. Well, there was one. Didn't work out so good. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? I think you do. So I'll just do this one here. I'm on my lips, but I still got my dignity. I'm on my lips. My mommy is calling me. I'm on my lips. Let's speak in broader terms. I'm on my lips. Rolling with his better worms. You see, I'm gonna write a book about it. Leave the letters red. Retired of Micronesia. Put a bullet in my head. I'm on my lips. I'm on my lips. My eyes don't focus right. I'm on my lips. Guess I'm afraid they might. I'm on my lips. Just look at these toasted clothes. I'm on my lips. Not to mention the bloody nose. Cause I've been beaten up and brutalized by things that I have said. And now I'm doing my level best to place my face beneath the tread. I'm on my lips. I'm on my lips. Yes sir. And night on night I try to think up an alibi. Well, and night on night I try to learn to say goodbye. It's not a real gun. I'm on my lips. They wouldn't sell me one. I'm on my lips. Must have been my checkered past. I'm on my lips. Maybe the body cast. I got rope and dope and blasting caps to see me to the end. But if I'm gonna find a match, I might be forced to make a friend. I'm on my lips. I'm on my lips right now, yes sir. And night on night I try to think up an alibi. La 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 howdy. And night on night I try to learn to say goodbye. 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 I hate it. Hutna, 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 whatna, whatna, hutna, whatna, hutna, hutna. Anne Marie Melma, hey. Hey, speaking of hey, hey, it's poetry break, poetry break, poetry break. That's right, friends. Ooh. Don't try that at home. Oh, I got fire, fire, fire. We're working with live ammo here. Yeah. Everything's fine. Just kidding. A little sparklies. I don't want to abuse the sparklies. You know why? Because those are the only two I got. Yeah. Who knows when I'll get out of the house again. The sparkly start looking like my shirts. Things could get bad. What can I tell you? So, earlier this afternoon, I was thinking, I got no new poetry to read, so I'm not going to read any of my poetry. But then, I got into a conversation, texting conversation this afternoon with my buddy, Brent Walker, up in the Methow Valley. Bent. Mr. Barry Farmer, one of my old cohorts at KVLR, Kevlar, Bulletproof Radio in TWISP, which was a period of my life, that was a year out of my life that I worked with these guys at KVLR, Bulletproof Radio. It was like the dream year, man. It was like we were building something out of nothing. We were all working extremely hard, and it was great. Until, of course, ownership, who had made all these promises about things that he was going to do for us once we had some listenership. Once we got the listenership, he was like, "No, you're doing fine." And, there was infrastructure projects that needed to be dealt with and things of that nature. And finally, the reason Brent contacted me today, he said, "Do you realize this is the 19-year anniversary of the day we walked out of KVLR? We staged a mutiny. The owner lived over here in Seattle. Yeah. And he would come over and, he would strut around TWISP in his Bermuda shorts and his Birkenstocks, leading two poodles on a leash and smoking like a $35 cigar. I kid you not. In TWISP, Washington. Yeah. He blended right in, I remember sitting at the Antlers Tavern with this guy, him smoking that $35 cigar, and just trying to explain to him that, I got these people to come and work at this radio station because of the things that you said you were going to do. And if you don't do these things, these are Methow people, man. They don't suffer fools. They're not going to hang it. They're not going to just do this out of sheer gratitude for the pittance you're paying them, because they're working hard. They can make better money doing something else, but they love radio. That's why they're doing this. So, you need to honor the things that you said you were going to do, or there's going to be trouble. He's like, I don't care. We can always get other people. He had this attitude. So, apparently, November 10th, 19 years ago, I remember there was a 5 CD changer in there. I loaded up the 5 CD changer, hit shuffle, and me and about 4 other people who were on staff and in the building walked out. I called them over here in Seattle. I said, "Hey, you don't have anybody working at your radio station anymore. Sorry, we've all left. We locked the doors. The CD player's on shuffle. Have fun with the FCC. See ya." Yeah. So, talking to Brent got me thinking about older poems. I figured I can read some of these things that I may have skipped when I was reading out of Trees and Flags the last time. One of which I want to read because it's about my Fox Island friends. Yeah. And this is a poem I wrote after Ken and Julie Higgins used to have an annual big party, right, on the beach. And they'd roast a turkey, and it was just like a big, community gathering. And all the old timers that used to hang out there when I was a kid and stuff like that would all show up. And I went to a few of those, and they were just wonderful. This one I actually had both of my kids with me, and they got to see where, the place I'd grown up, because they'd heard about it their whole lives, Yeah. They were into it up to a point. My daughter was kind of adolescent at that point. She was kind of bored by everything, but she could see the excitement, so she gave it some attention, which was great. And Jake loved it no matter where he was. He has a good time no matter where he is. So. But I wrote this poem back in the Methow after I got back. So this is from when did this book come out? I don't know. 2004, 2005, around in there. This would have been the early 21st century. It's called Reunion. Visited the old stomping grounds of Fox Island last Sunday. Gulls, saltwater smell, barnacled rocks, jellyfish in the tide wash. The people, all of us older, more generations represented now, new faces with familiar features, widing the wild tube behind a speedboat, mooching from the dock, adolescent girls bored to death on the fringes of conversation. My childhood friend and I have both gone gray. He takes me out in his boat to survey 30 years of changes. Thud of hull on water, wind and spray, songs of memory. The tranquility I overlooked in youth. Now both are gone. The meaning of family comes clearer here. A resonant laugh, a circle of arms. Children moving us on. I have loved this place for 30 years in absence, and the people. Except for all the gray. Weren't we together only yesterday? That's for Scott and Rhonda and Ken and Julie if they're here. And I see Barry Farmer in the house. Yeah. Bet you didn't think I'd talk about you, did you? That's right. So yeah, this was around the time that I was doing Kevlar. I was also doing a little bit of teaching at Liberty Bell through Methow Arts Organization. Oh man. This was a tumultuous time in my life. Yeah. I'll try this one. This one's called Drawn Down. I touch the tongue of earth that is my home. Cover it with feet, words, tears, whatever might deliver me. In years, I am halfway to 90. Wallowing in the crusted snowbanks of late winter, frolicking the yard with my 8-year-old son, worried after his stability, how my anger and pain have flared the floorboards of his magic house. I sit alone on the anniversary of my birth, humped over a page, yellowed with caring, curled under by the rack and ruin that visit here. Hope is fogged at the edges, ice crystals leafing their distortions, the ache and burn of thawing fingers still clenched in a fist of questions. Hesitation is the gift of age, the wage of scar, a route interrupting the path toward a sunrise, a lake in the mountain's cup, a flag in the updraft. Yeah. One more. It's called The Worlds. Impossible scribbles on blank white sky. These pictures forever. Remember your mother, her checkbook, rescue with wrinkled hands. Your words are weak, your faith. The students are wise to your stunts. Importance sells itself cheaply. Winter is a long, bad joke. String these pictures like prayer beads. Your mother, her checkbook, your lover, that white. All the stoppers are off now. All that was made is unmade, and you are straddling the worlds. The first has a Jesus in it, huge buildings made by men to mark a single human life. The other is his mother too, and no hand but hers has touched the ceiling. She calls us out into the endless cathedral of all lives, into the voluminous poetry of blank white sky. Okay, that's a little turbulent for the most part, except for that Fox Island one, which I've always kind of liked. I've always kind of liked that one. Yeah. Let me see here. I wanted to read one Billy Collins. My friend Mary Pekka gifted me with a copy of Whale Day, the new Billy Collins book. Thank you, Mary. She's an old Whitworth alum. I wanted to read Imperial Garden. Imperial Garden. It was at the end of dinner, the two of us in a red booth, maintaining our silence, when I decided to compose a message for the fortune cookie you were soon to receive. Avoid mullishness when choosing a position on the great board game of life was my mean-spirited contribution to the treasury of Confucian wisdom. But while we waited for the cookies, the slices of oranges, and the inescapable pot of watery tea, I realized that by mullishness, I meant your refusal to let me have my own way every time I wanted it. I watched you looking off to the side, your mass of dark hair, your profile softened by lamplight, and then I made up a fortune for myself. He who acts like a jerk on an island of his own creation will have only the horizon for a friend. I seemed to be getting worse at this, I thought, as the cookies arrived at the table, along with the orange slices and a teapot painted with tigers menacingly peering out from the undergrowth. The restaurant was quiet then. The waiter returned to looking out at the street. A zither whimpered in the background, and we turned to our cookies, cracking the brittle shells, then rolling into little balls the tiny scrolls of our destinies before dropping them, unread, into our cups of tea. A little good luck thing we'd been doing ever since we met. Yeah. Billy Collins. Never too old to learn, right? So here's, this is a great book by our friend Ted Kooser. We've introduced ourselves to Ted Kooser. He was in conversation poetically with Jim Harrison in a book called Braided Creek that I read some of a while back. This is another one of those books of small poems that Ted Kooser wrote, and I will read you his brief introduction. In the autumn of 1998, during my recovery from surgery and radiation for cancer, I began taking a 2-mile walk each morning. I'd been told by my radiation oncologist to stay out of the sun for a year because of skin sensitivity. So I exercised before dawn, hiking the isolated country roads near where I live, sometimes with my wife, but most often alone. During the previous summer, depressed by my illness, preoccupied by the routines of my treatment, and feeling miserably sorry for myself, I'd all but given up on reading and writing. Then, as autumn began to fade and winter come on, my health began to improve. One morning in November, following my walk, I surprised myself by trying my hand at a poem. Soon I was writing every day. Several years before, my friend Jim Harrison and I had carried on a correspondence in haiku. As a variation on this, I began pasting my morning poems on postcards and sending them to Jim, whose generosity, patience, and good humor are here acknowledged. What follows is a selection of 100 of those postcards. Ted Kooser, from Garland, Nebraska. Nebraska. Somewhere I've been. I've been there. Been there, done that. Not Garland, but Baird, which is better, because it's right by Chimney Rock. So we start in November. I figure I'll just read the November selections. Actually, I'll read just up to today. How's that? Starts on November 9th. Rainy and cold. The sky hangs thin and wet on its clothesline. A deer of gray vapor steps through the foreground under the dripping, lichen-rusted trees. Halfway across the next field, the distance, or can that be the future, is sealed up in tin like an old barn. My mouth is not working very well tonight, I'm sorry. November 10th, high winds all night. Most of the snow passed north of us, but this morning we're given the fancy white lace at the edge of that blanket, every weed on the roadside coated with ice. Behind the counter at the post office, somebody's small carton stamped with black letters, Angel Moments with Snail. I drive very slowly all the way home. Angel Moments with Snail. November 12, 4:30 a.m. This is about the same time I go out and walk. That's why I like this book. On mornings like this, as hours before dawn, I walk the dark hall of the road with my life creaking under my feet. I sometimes take hold of the cold porcelain knob of the moon and turn it and step into a room warm and yellow and take my seat at a small wooden table with a border of painted pansies and wait for my mother to bring me my bowl. November 13, sunny and cold. Horsetail cirrus miles above, stretched all the way from Yankton to Wichita. I stoop on the road, small man in coat and cap, tying his shoe. A curled brown leaf lies on its back, lifting its undistinguished edges into the glory of frost. November 14, in the low 40s and clear. My wife and I walk the cold road in silence, asking for 30 more years. There's a pink and blue sunrise with an accent of red. A hunter's cap burns like a coal in the yellow-gray eye of the woods. A couple more. I've gone past the date, haven't I? Yeah. November. Promises. I'm all through with promises. Sorry. November 15, cold and clear. An anthem of geese on the wing, and over the next field, a thin flag of starlings billows and snaps. At dawn, a sudden fire on a hilltop 4 miles east. Joe Scala's Airstream trailer reflecting the sun. November 17. Clouds to the west, clear in the east. Older this morning, the moon hid most of her face behind a round gray mirror. In a half-hour's walk, I saw 6 shooting stars. Celestial notes, I thought, struck from the high end of the keyboard. One more. November 18, cloudy, dark, and windy. Walking by flashlight at 6 in the morning, my circle of light on the gravel, swinging side to side, coyote, raccoon, field mouse, sparrow, each watching from darkness, this man with the moon on a leash. I love that. This man with the moon on a leash. That's Ted Kooser, Winter Morning Walks, it's called. Available, I'm sure, from your local bookseller. It's from Carnegie Mellon University Press. For those of you making notes. Yeah. Poetry, ladies and gentlemen. Poetry. Everybody's having a conversation without me off to the side here. That's just fine. That is just fine. I want to play the song for Rhonda because she requested it. She's coming close to one of these markers in her life. Or she may have passed it already, actually. If I had her permission, I'd read you the email, but I'm not gonna. The song is called The Day I Was Older. It's a title that I stole from Donald Hall, of course. He's good. Sometimes you need that. And, it was because I was going to write the song anyway, and I figured, why not use the line? It's a great line, The Day I Was Older, come on. And he wrote a poem about the day he outlived his father, the day he became older than his father ever was. So that happened to me in November of 2017. Yeah, my dad died 99 days short of his 60th birthday. And I reached that mark, 99 days shy of my 60th birthday, in November of 2017. I thought about it a lot. I actually fixated on it a little bit. I thought about it long enough to where I started kind of being critical of myself for dwelling on it so much. Like, there's probably more important things to be thinking about, Bill. But I wrote the song. I guess I wrote the song in part because I wasn't sure, what if I don't make it? What if I don't make it to November 2017? So I wrote it the summer of 2017. It's called The Day I Was Older. This is with apologies to Donald Hall and with great gratitude, not only to my dad for everything that he gave me, which includes this whole complex, that ukulele up there, which he used to play. I I cannot not add my mom to the mix. My mom was also extremely musical and part of the musical kind of atmosphere in our home. My sister too. I learned to finger pick from my sister. But this is called The Day I Was Older, and I'm playing it for Rhonda.
The day I was older, I thought about Dad, his cartoon faces and the talks that we had. I picked up this guitar and played something sad, and that was the day I was older. The day I was older, I called my best friend. We spoke of our history and how it might end, and all the love letters that we'll never send. And that was the day I was older. We don't talk enough about grace anymore. Our gratitude sleeps in a box by the door. We shop to feel better and live in the store, and fellowship keeps getting colder. The day I was older was all in my head. I counted them down and I colored them red, and wished like the devil there was more to be said. But that was the day I was older. We don't talk enough about grace anymore. Our gratitude sleeps in a box by the door. We shop to feel better and live in the store, and fellowship keeps getting colder. The day I was older. The day I was older.
There you go, Rhonda. Thank you for requesting it. Yeah. Hey, kids! Gather around the old ICU2 TV set. Yes, it's time to wish some happy birthdays. That's right, friends. Birthdays this week. Now, next week there's not going to be a show, so there's going to be a lot of birthdays to catch up on. I should have looked 2 weeks ahead, shouldn't I have? See, this is the thing I was working on right before showtime tonight. I forgot. See, my head has just been a little absent. Been a little absent this week. Now, last week I read you like 4 new poems, right, that I'd written in the 2 weeks since I'd last read some of my stuff, and I guess I got kind of full of myself. I guess I started feeling, I'm just cranking it out now, man. It's just an artesian well of, me. Anyway, birthdays. Remember? Yeah. Birthdays. First of all, this very day, I wanted to mention the happy birthday to Carrie Brakefield Kearns. Carrie B. Yeah, one of my old first student buddies is celebrating her birthday right now. That's right. Also, Cheryl Hicks Kimball, sister of Alan Hicks, longtime friend of mine. Cheryl's a longtime friend of mine, better known as Weirdo in the parlance of our youths. Spent somewhat together. Happy birthday, Cheryl. Also, Seth Blair, an old Victory Music guy. This guy is an amazing songwriter. He's got videos up on YouTube. Seth plays the cello and writes songs, and he plays the cello to accompany himself. It is amazing. Look him up. Sethblair. Seth Blair. wonderful human being, amazing songwriter. And finally, Don Johnson, one of my neighbors on Libby Creek. I think he's living currently in American Falls, Idaho, which is the town my father was born in. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in American Falls in my life, and now Don Johnson's living there. All those birthdays are today. Tomorrow, Mr. Dan Tyak, another local musician of some note, and Mr. Randy Levine, a friend from the Methow Valley, also celebrating a birthday. That's tomorrow. On Thursday, Riley Mae Burns, who is a member of a singing duo here in Seattle called Hedwin. Amazing singer-songwriter, amazing voice, amazing vocal harmonies with her partner in Hedwin. Also, another first student old buddy, Aaron Janest, is having a birthday. That is on Thursday. Did I say Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. Riley and Aaron have birthdays on Thursday. On Saturday, I don't have anybody on Friday, so if your birthday's on Friday, how come I don't know that? You know, I blame you. I blame you. On Saturday, my old friend from junior high and high school, Maura Cullen, still living in Tacoma, still working in education after all these years. Maura, happy birthday on Saturday. Sunday, David LaFontaine, who has been around the music scene here in Seattle for decades, old buddy from the Peace concerts back in the 80s and early 90s. And Howard Dunn is also having a birthday on Sunday. And Monday, Ahmad Babahar, a mutual friend of mine and Mr. Kelly Murphy's, is having his birthday on Monday. So there you go. Birthdays this week. I'm sorry if I missed yours, but you got to make it available. If you want to be one of those mysterious people, like me, I'm only 26, but people probably think I'm older because I have this done to my beard and, things like that, because I like that air of mystery. I like that mystique of being wise and old, and I may not actually turn out to be that, but I like the appearance of it at least. So I've decided here at the last minute to finish with the song that I was afraid to try. I've been playing it all week, so I'm going to at least try it. Maybe I'll have 2 flubs tonight, and we can move on to something else. But I love this song, and I haven't played it in a long time. I did not write this. Okay, there you go. But see, I'm going to keep working on that. And one of these times, I'm just going to wow you with it. You'll be floored. You'll be completely undone by it. Not because it's a great song, but because just my performance will be so dynamic. And so ever so well rehearsed because, yeah. Anyway. So maybe I'll finish with this one instead. This is another chestnut, and also one of Diane's favorites. I want to thank my wife, Diane, for always being here. She's in our bedroom right now, monitoring the feed, probably chatting up with you folks. It's about 40 degrees in our bedroom because we like sleeping with the window open, so we have the bedroom all closed off during the day. She's in there right now, but she's under several layers of what I hope is, coziness. I don't know. She's getting everything all nice and warm for when I go in there in a little while. Is that TMI? I'll find out. I'll get back to you on it. There's a man at the edge of Elliott Bay with a canvas in his hand. He's waiting for the ghosts of the pioneers to swim back to the land. He turns toward the skyline, not an inch of open ground. It's the hard way, but he's still looking for Old Town. Old Town, Old Town. The weight he carries with him like a prison ball behind. He's sticking real close to the crosswalks and reading over all of the signs. Barely been away, but now a stranger's stumbling around. It's a
wrong turn, but he's still looking for Old Town. Old Town, Old Town. The scattered shapes and shadows that wash across his sight, like neon glare on wet cement or fog falling out of the night. The slope of huddled shoulders and the raindrops running down to fill the cracks in the sidewalks of Old Town. Old Town, Old Town. There's a wood-framed house with shutters painted blue. He can see the upstairs window, he can still remember the view. The tree that swayed into his reach and climbing slowly down to walk the wet, rutted streets of Old Town. Old Town, Old Town. And the colors he remembers are blue and green and gray. The smells are all of tide lines and wood smoke floating away. The sounds of fallen timber and the hammer's steady pound to leave a clue for those who sift through Old Town. Old Town, Old Town. There's a ghost at the edge of Elliott Bay with a canvas in his hand. He's waiting for the rest of the pioneers to swim back to the land. He turns toward the skyline, not an inch of open ground. It's the hard way, but he's still looking for Old Town. Old Town, Old Town. There's no Old Town.
There you go. Old Town. That's going back a ways. That's about a, what? Probably about a 35-year-old song. Old enough to know better, one would think, wouldn't one? Yes, indeed. Well, friends, you've done it again. You've survived another hour in the treehouse. As have I. Now remember, mark your calendars for Tuesday, November the 24th, 7 o'clock, right here in this spot. Myself and Mr. Jim Page will be trading songs for a couple hours or, 90 minutes or, however long until we drive each other nuts, which is sometimes can take up to 7 hours, depending on how long it's been since we talked. In the meantime, thank you for your patience. I know I'm a little ragged today. I was having a kind of a bummer of a body day. A lot of discomfort. What are you going to do? It comes and goes. It ebbs and flows. It bobs and weaves. Ducks and covers sometimes. But so I'm going to be off next week, but we'll be back on the 24th with Mr. Jim Page. Okay? Is that okay? It's okay if I do that once in a while, right? Take a day off, a week off. Okay. Thank you, guys. Glad you're being good to each other. Please keep that up. Mask up. Take the precautions. Do the careful stuff. Let's get done with this so that we can all be in the same room again sometime, okay? All right. We will see you 2 weeks from tonight. All right?